Alright, so here's the question. Do you have to have a 2-year degree or a bachelor's degree? I've heard it's hard to get a pilot job without one. And this is one of the most common questions I get, and I want to tell you right now, no, absolutely not. You do not need a college education. You don't have to go to college. You don't need a degree to become a helicopter pilot. And I'll even go a step further saying that any job I've ever seen posted, I don't think I've ever seen a requirement for a college degree, a bachelor's degree, nothing. A lot of people have this misconception, and I kind of did too, especially for like the airline role if you wanted to be an airline pilot. Now that still kind of is a thing, but airlines are really dropping that requirement because there's such a big pilot shortage that they don't want that barrier to entry for pilots. So even the airlines are kind of getting rid of that. But for me personally, and I don't want this to get too political, but I wasn't a good high school student. Like, I was fine, but I really didn't get good grades. Like I was a commonly C, B student. I wasn't good at high school, and I knew I did not want to go to college. Like, college was so far off the table for me. I wanted to do anything other than college, and that's why I think trade schools are so important. Like going and learning a trade. I think helicopters, being a helicopter pilot is a trade, a fixed wing pilot. I think being a plumber, an esthetician, there's so many different jobs you can get by going to trade school and not going to college. It's really not required at all for a lot of jobs nowadays. So to answer this question, no, you do not need a 2-year degree. You do not need a bachelor's degree. You don't need to go to college. I've never been asked it. I don't think people care. That's it, no college. So in this video, we're gonna go over some of the most commonly asked questions I get and answer them, and then stick around to the end because I got a really cool project coming up and I need your help with it, so stick around for that. So this one says, I have a question. Why are you wanting to get your fixed wing pilot's license? I think as a helicopter pilot, we love flying helicopters, and helicopters are just, they're great in every sense of the word, but airplanes are really good for a lot of reasons. Going places way faster, way higher, you can fly for longer, the fatigue is less, but all of those equal boring, so helicopters are more fun and more exciting. Airplanes are just super practical. There's no question about it. Airplanes are a lot more practical in a lot of senses. Helicopters are practical in some senses too. But I think having my fixed wing pilot's license, it's really fun, and it's fun to see what the other side does. All I talk about is helicopters, and as I've been learning fixed wing stuff, it's been really interesting to see what they do, pick up the tools and the things that they do, because their aviation style is different than the helicopter aviation style. So it's just been a fun challenge. Also, it looks really good on a resume. If you're a helicopter pilot with 2,000 hours, or you're a helicopter and an airplane pilot with 2,000 hours, whatever combination, that looks better, and you know, you're employable for a lot more people. So I don't know, there's many reasons why I'm doing it, but I've honestly really enjoyed learning how to fly fixed wing, so that's probably the main reason why. I like this one, simple. You IFR rated? Yeah, I'm IFR rated. I love IFR. For anyone that doesn't know, there are 2 styles of flying. There's VFR and IFR. VFR is like beautiful, clear skies. You can just fly. It's like just a nice, clear day. And then when the weather gets bad and there's clouds, you switch to IFR flying, which is using the instruments to fly. You cannot see outside. You're basically in the clouds. So IFR is a really great tool to have. It's not really used that commonly in helicopter flights. Honestly, for like the vast majority of helicopter flying, it's all VFR, all visual flying. But IFR is really cool. It's a completely different world. It's very systematic. Unlike VFR, where it's kind of just go here and go there, IFR is like you hit certain waypoints at certain altitudes, and it's really enjoyable. It also makes you a much safer pilot. If you do fly into the clouds, you can get yourself out of the clouds. So I love IFR, and yes, I'm IFR rated. This is a really great question. It was on one of my videos that I posted. Great video, Devin. How many students do you deal with at a time? So it kind of depends. I've worked at 2 different places as a flight instructor, and typically, so the situation I'm in now is a little bit different, but typically at the generic flight school, you're gonna have like a wide range of students, like super wide range, and this question is kind of hard to answer. You may have a student that comes in 3 or 4 times a week, super motivated, super eager, really wanting to learn how to fly, and they're willing to put the work in to do it. But then you're gonna have sometimes a student that comes in once a month, once every 3 weeks, that's kind of slowly progressing. So you could have like 10 students, but 5 of them are really active and 5 of them kind of are just doing it like as a fun side hobby. So at any given time, I'd say I have about 10 students that I'm working with at various different progression levels, at various different motivation levels, but about 10. That doesn't mean I fly with all 10 of those every day, or that I'll see the same 10 over the course of a week, but about 10 students I'm training. So these are kind of just fun questions, but the main point of this video is I wanted to let you guys know over the next 2 weeks I'll be heading up to Alaska. I'm celebrating my birthday, but more importantly, I'm gonna go see my friends from flight school. 2 of the friends you'll see in the next upcoming weeks, we all went to flight school together at Mauna Loa Helicopters in Hawaii. We all went through training together, and then after that we all worked as flight instructors together at a school in New York. So we went from flight school in Hawaii to being instructors in New York. All 3 of us left about at the same time. We left in the space of a month, and both of those 2 went to Alaska. So Christina moved to Alaska and became a helicopter tour pilot, and so did Ben. Christina is flying the A-Star giving tours, Ben is flying the Robinson R44 giving tours. So we're gonna go up there and I'm going to make a bunch of videos talking to them and flying with them and getting their experience from flying helicopter tours in Alaska. Now this was the trajectory I was on too. I was thinking about going to Alaska and flying tours there. That's kind of a common thing to do, you know. After you hit 500, 1,000-ish hours, you can go to Alaska, you can go to Hawaii, you can go to Nevada, Grand Canyon, New York City, and fly tours. So I was kind of on that tour trajectory, and they actually went on it. So I want you guys to, on this video, leave me questions you want me to ask them about becoming a tour pilot in Alaska. You know, I'll ask them questions too, but the questions, you know, I think you guys want to know and add on to this list are: how hard was it getting used to the weather in Alaska? What does a typical day look like as a tour pilot in Alaska? And how many hours do you fly? What's the sketchiest thing that's ever happened to you while flying up there? What's the weather like? What are the winds like? Do you want to continue to fly tours in Alaska? What has your experience been? Do you want to go off and do something else? And after you have been a flight instructor and flown tours in Alaska, what's the next career move for you? So questions like that I'm gonna ask. Like I said, I'll interview them. These are like my really close friends. But the other thing is we're gonna fly together and we'll get in-flight footage. So stick around for that. Ask any questions you want down below and I will ask that to them. And I will see you guys on the next video, and I'll be in Alaska. Take care.